Have you ever found yourself just scrolling and scrolling, and then you look up and an entire hour has just vanished? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. The Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, really pulled back the curtain on that exact feeling, and it sparked this huge global conversation about our relationship with the tech in our pockets. So today, we're going to break down the film's biggest arguments, what the industry had to say about it, and what all of this really means for our brains and, well, our world.
Okay, let's just dive right in with probably the single most famous line from the entire documentary. This idea, which was really pushed by tech insiders like Tristan Harris, a former design ethicist at Google, is the key to understanding everything else. The idea is that these free services we use, they aren't free at all. There's a hidden transaction going on where our attention, that is the real currency being bought and sold.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll unpack that core idea, that you are the product. Then we'll look at how that business model is literally designed to rewire our brains and what that's doing to society. After that, we have to give the industry its say, so we'll dive into Facebook's official rebuttal. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with what you can actually do to take back some control.
To really get the dilemma, we first have to understand the business model. And according to the film, it's not really about connecting people or sharing cat photos. It's about something much, much bigger.
The whole documentary is really built on this one concept, which Harvard professor Shoshana Zuboff calls surveillance capitalism. And the key phrase to focus on here is human experience as free raw material. I mean, think about that. It means every click, every like, every single second you pause on a photo, all of that is data. And that data isn't just used to understand you, it's used to build a model that can predict and even influence what you're going to do next.
The experts in the film say it all boils down to these three relentless goals. First, the engagement goal. Just keep your eyes on that screen for as long as possible. Second, the growth goal. Gets you to invite your friends and family, making the network bigger. And finally, the advertisement goal. That's where they cash in. This isn't just a list. It's a powerful, non-stop feedback loop that basically fuels the entire machine.
And here's the real kicker. Advertisers aren't just buying space on a web page anymore. What they're buying is certainty. They're paying for a prediction that says, with a high degree of confidence, if we show this person this ad at this exact moment, they will click it or they will buy it. The product being sold is a guaranteed change in your behavior.
Okay, so that's the business model. But how does it actually affect us, as people? If the goal is to change our behavior, then these platforms need some pretty powerful tools to get inside our heads, and that's where the psychology comes in.
It's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? How do they turn what was supposed to be a quick check-in into a 2-hour doom-scrolling session? Well, the answer lies in exploiting some pretty well-known quirks of human psychology.
This is such a powerful phrase from the documentary. What it means is that these algorithms, they're not trying to appeal to your logical, rational mind. No, they're targeting the most primitive, ancient parts of your brain, the parts that crave social approval, rewards, and novelty. And it all happens before you even have a chance to think about it.
And this is a perfect example of how it works. That simple middle pull to refresh gesture, it was intentionally designed to feel just like pulling the lever on a slot machine. You pull it, and maybe you get a reward, like a new post or a like, or maybe you get nothing. That variable ratio reward schedule is one of the most powerful, addictive forces known to behavioral science, and it's built right into the apps we use every single day. And this is where the argument in the film gets really, really serious. It suggests that this constant cycle of getting little digital rewards and comparing ourselves to others is contributing to a documented rise in anxiety, depression, and even self-harm, especially among teenagers.
I mean, just look at these numbers. The film points out that since 2009, the suicide rate for older teen girls in the US is up 70%. For preteen girls, it's up an absolutely staggering 151%. And the film makes the case that this timeline is not a coincidence. It lines up almost perfectly with when social media became available 24/7 on our phones.
So the dilemma isn't just personal, right? It's collective. The film argues that the very same tools that are so good at capturing our individual attention are having these massive, devastating consequences for society as a whole.
And here is the great paradox. A system that was built to connect us all is actually driving us apart. How? Well, it turns out the best way to keep you engaged is to show you things that confirm what you already believe, and then slowly, gently push you toward more extreme versions of those beliefs. So your reality online starts to look totally different from your neighbor's reality online, and suddenly, finding common ground gets harder and harder.
This chart breaks down the mechanics of it perfectly. To get maximum engagement, the algorithms learn that outrage gets way more clicks and shares. And the result of that? Increased polarization. At the very same time, this creates a huge market for disinformation, because lies, especially shocking ones, spread way faster than the boring old truth. The end result is that the shared sense of reality we all rely on just starts to, well, erode.
This one statistic from the film explains so much about why our online conversations feel the way they do. Outrage is literally rewarded by the system. It's not that we've all become angrier people overnight. It's that the angriest, most outraged voices are the ones that get algorithmically amplified, which creates this totally distorted view of what people actually think.
Okay, but that's the film side of the story. After it came out, the industry, and Facebook in particular, they pushed back hard. They released an official response to all these claims. So let's be fair and take a look at their counterarguments.
So, Facebook's main position is that the film is just sensationalism. They argued that it creates a convenient scapegoat for what are actually really complex societal problems. They said the film buries the real issues in drama, and that it deliberately leaves out the perspectives of anyone who's currently working at these companies.
So on the whole addiction issue, Facebook says no. We build our products to create value, not to be addictive. And they pointed to a big algorithm change they made back in 2018 that was designed to prioritize, quote, meaningful social interactions. They say this change actually led to a massive decrease of 50 million hours a day spent on the platform, which they argue is not something a company trying to get you addicted would ever do.
Next up, they went after that big mantra, you are the product. Facebook reframes it. They say, look, we're an ad-supported platform so that the service can be free for everybody. They really stress that they do not sell your personal data. Instead, they sell advertisers the ability to reach specific audiences, and they argue this actually levels the playing field for small businesses.
And finally, on all the polarization and fake news, Facebook's response is that they are actively fighting it. They point to a global network of over 70 fact-checking partners and say they take proactive steps to find and remove hate speech and misinformation and to deliberately reduce the reach of polarizing content.
So, we've got the film's really dire warnings on one side and the industry's detailed rebuttals on the other. So where does that leave us? Well, in the face of all this, the experts in the film don't end with despair. They end with a call to action, with concrete steps that we can all take to regain some control.
So what can we actually do? Well, here's the practical advice. Turn off all notifications except for the ones from actual human beings. Never just accept a recommended video. Always make an active choice about what you watch next. Use search engines that don't track you. And maybe the most important ones, just be more mindful. Fact-check something before you share it, and try to establish some screen-free rules in your home.
At the end of the day, this is the question that the documentary really leaves us with. It's a battle for our attention. And just being aware that the battle is even happening is the first and most important step. This tech isn't going anywhere, so understanding how it works, what its goals are, and how it's affecting us is more important than ever. The choice of who's in control the film suggests is still up to us.